Hi, I'm Marlon. This is our wonderful 1970 Bedford bus. It was made here in Petone, where we are currently, and it lived most of its life in the South Island, and we're responsible for bringing it back to the city of its birth or creation. 1970, that's a long time ago. It's been a motorhome since the year 2000. It's full of junk. We've got a spare canister for the toilet, which goes in there. It's a pretty cool gas setup because we've got shut-off valves for all the different directions that it goes, and there's some labels on there where they go, but basically we're supplying the fridge, the oven that we've got in the kitchen, hot water. Yeah, that's right. So inside we've got a burner that heats the water for us on demand. Nice big gas bottle, and then I also carry a spare so that whenever this empties out, I just chuck a little one in there part-time for getting by. Probably the most important thing that I access out of here is a big hose. It's a couple of meters long, and that hooks onto this pipe because that's our grey water tank. We've got a massive fresh water tank, so we could carry like 3/4 of a ton of it. That's the inlet there. Down here we've got a water pump. We have an outside hose, which I really like, outlet. So we can pump water out, hook up a hose, squirt things, wash the dog when he comes back from the beach, and then we store some of the chemicals in here. This is the thing that everybody loves, the awesome mural on the back. It's an effigy of Ned Kelly, who's like a famous Australian legend.
Why do we live in this bus? When we first started dating, Katie and I, she was coming and camping with me in this little camper, but of course Katie's got all of her children, so we thought, how are we going to camp with the kids? We've been here doing this for 2 years, just getting that dream started. To me, living out and about in the rest of the country and not having really any desire to own property or rent a house and things like that, for me, symbolically, that's all about that. It's like, I'm not homeless, I have a home. I'm a professional homeless person in a way, but not really, because I have a home that I can always go home to. That's a diesel fuel vehicle for the motor. This inlet is another diesel tank for the fireplace, which we have a chimney up there for. It's a diesel fire, and probably anyone who's familiar with motorhomes knows what's in here. This is where our fridge is, and this is where it vents. Vents up there, actually. Wow, so many lights. That's what I really like about it. These go on the full beam headlights, and then on full, the dip ones turn off, and these 4 turn on. And then these ones are daytime running lights. So when the headlights are off, those are always on when the motor's on. But when you turn the headlights off, they turn off. Is that in there of how that's been utilised? Is there's a big chili bin right here, and then there's a barbecue, quite a big barbecue cook plate, and then it's all on a thing that slides out here. The benefits of this lifestyle is, for me, I was already, before we moved into this one, I already been doing the motorhome life and living in motels and driving freight trucks around the country for quite a while, and I'd already figured out I need to downsize all my stuff, and I got rid of all my stuff. And yeah, for me, that's the main benefit. Or is that a benefit, or is it just a consequence of living tiny? I like not having much stuff. Like, I remember discovering that challenge years ago. It was like, can you live your life with 100 possessions or less? If you counted everything, how small do things get? The components of things. So like, you could say, oh, I need a car, but a car is like a whole 1,000 things rolled into one, isn't it? So, I don't know, possessions. I admire people that can backpack and just get around the world with just a backpack.
And I like being able to
And a
get
tent.
around the country, and we have our own accommodation, so it'll be very spontaneous.
Yeah, that's another one of the benefits, eh? We've been on road trips either way and staying at Airbnbs and things like that, and we look at the economics and we're like, well, if we go by car, we'll have to stay at Airbnbs, and that's going to cost hundreds of dollars for these different places, and we've done that before. And then the other option is just take this, and it costs about as much, because it's not cheap to drive a 7.5 ton bus around.
The dog as well. We don't have to make special accommodation for him.
Yeah.
This is where I hang out as the operator. I'm the sole operator of this bus, except for the odd mechanic who sees to it now and again. Driver's seat is air ride, so it does have a bit of suspension in it, but I prefer to drive it without. We've got this whole line of switches here, which most of them do nothing, but 2 of them run the wipers individually, so one at a time, one switch for each one. And then we've got fans for the radiator for the motor, and then there's another switch which just gives power to the fuel pump for the Dickinson marine fireplace down here.
I do want to say there's also a light switch, which the dog knows how to use.
This has been repowered with an Isuzu 6BD1T, and the T is the T is because it's got a turbo in the front here, and up above here there's a hanger for a television screen. Power consumption's really low. We never run the fridge off of our solar, just the lighting. And I haven't figured out if any of the other 12 volt systems, I don't know what's connected to the house batteries and which might be just running off the bus batteries. Oh, I think it's a pretty basic setup. It's only got one large panel, which I think is 250 watts, and we've got 2 12 volt batteries for the house. We have used it and we love it. The heat is amazing, but at the moment, last time we used it, which was the beginning of last winter, it stopped working. So we haven't used it since. But then luckily at that time we ended up parking up at a place where we could be full-time plugged into power, and our bus was off the road and inside a warehouse at that time, so we couldn't have used this anyway. Every winter we have to figure out where to put all these other things, but when we're not using the fireplace, this becomes like a storage area.
I think the main difficulty for me would be when repairs need to be made on the bus. I can't go home because home is at the mechanics.
We got lucky. We have a mechanic who let us stay at the mechanics. He looked after us like that. I know other people in motorhomes, and their story has been, oh, it sucks because my vehicle had to go to the mechanics and they had it for a couple of weeks and I had to sleep on someone's couch. And we haven't been that unlucky. We've been lucky. I call it the stove, even though it's a full-blown oven, which you don't see a lot in motorhomes. But when we got the bus, the oven never worked, and we don't really care that the oven doesn't work. And so, again, stuff gets stored in there.
Pizza boxes.
Pizza boxes mostly. It's a good place to hide them away. Is that what's in there now?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Full of
Pizza
pizza boxes.
The grill works, which is great.
The grill section works, so good for toasting and stuff. When we're on electricity, we do have a toaster on board. It's in the storage at the moment. An electric toaster, but we never needed that. This is a extractor fan, and it's temperamental. You have to hit it. There's another light under here for our kitchen. Storage.
Food storage.
The gas struts aren't reliable. Like
this one works alright.
that one's okay.
This one will.
That one likes to not work. All our meds and vitamins and stuff go down that end. Fruit, veggies. Like it pretty much just changes and evolves as time goes on. I like how you brought this new thing, Katie. This new tub.
And it's got the locking mechanism.
Yeah, this locks.
When you shut it properly.
It does if you shut it properly. On our to-do list, whenever I'm going travelling, I check those,
And you know, the previous owner, he said that these wouldn't slide open in transit, but he lied to us.
Well, maybe we got heavier stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first trip was it.
I thought,
They flew open and
Yeah.
one fell out.
yeah, he said they'll slide open, but they won't fall out. And I was like, okay. And so I got used to driving for the first few days with them opening up while we're driving. And I thought, sweet as long as they don't fall out. But then one of them did fall out and spill all over the floor. And so I thought, just going to invent something.
Who invented something?
We invented it. It's just a safety bar, and then so when they come out, they just stay there. Oh, this is cool. I mean, it's just a compost, you know, for our veggie cut-offs and stuff like that. But then my mate's a metal recycler, and he gave me this. And I was like, oh, cool. Click that on there, and then it can hold that. Now, it's only ever come off that magnet whilst driving once, and that was when it was very full. This is a water meter. I didn't see any point at sitting there plugged in taking power all the time, since you only ever need to read it when you need to read it. So every time I need to read the tank level, I just plug it in, and that's the hot water burner, and everyone knows what those are. The fridge freezer, we think we would make it bigger if we could, because we don't use the microwave. And it literally has become another storage cabinet for things. The fridge is nice and big enough, I think. We just could have a bigger one, I think, if we could get rid of the microwave and fill the space up. What have we learned about ourselves from living in a bus?
I guess, yeah, going back to the not needing much.
Yeah, because before I met Katie, she had a big old house with lots of stuff. And so she made I already was on the journey and inspired her to come along on this journey of not living in a house anymore. I've just learned that I like living in a bus, and I guess from time to time we have contemplated giving it up, but only when we've been really stressed or whatever. It's like, oh. But you know, because it's not the easiest. I mean, whichever way you choose to live, there are challenges, and we've had our challenges. But most of all, I think we've just been totally committed, and I've only every now and again gone, maybe we should think about getting a house, and then easily decided not to, because it's like, no, I was thinking stupid.
That is the bathroom. And around here, we've got a wee hatch we can open to vent out the hot water. Pressure is awesome. Then
the shower is hotter than any other shower I've ever used. I think it's just because you're burning gas to get it hot, and you can select the temperature that you like. And I know some household showers you can crank the temperature up with a little electronic dial pad, but most places you go in the real world, you just get the level of hot water that you get, or you put it through a mixer. This one only takes water from the heater, so there's no mix, so you have to adjust the temperature on the gas machine. Well, we have kids over quite a lot, and some of them will sleep in the lounge, and a couple of them will sleep in these beds. They don't stay with us all the time, so it's full of kids stuff. In this end of the foot of the bunk beds, on both bunk beds, there's just kids' books and things like that.
Games down the bottom.
Yeah.
This one's a bean bag. It's awesome for putting in the middle there and watching TV.
Yeah. Well, my favourite thing about this room at the back is that it's an island bed. So if we don't have too much things cluttered up around, we can walk down both sides and
make the bed.
You have to pull the whole mattress side to side, get the sheet on, all of that. My favourite thing about back here is the sound system built in. You see these front-facing speakers real easy, but there's actually another two pointing down to us when we brought this bus off the previous owner, and we never decided to put one back here. This, I end up just hanging clothes on it. I think when they installed the giant bed, the much bigger bed than original, the closet doors no longer worked, so they got removed, and I think they're better without it. Like, my dream is, to be honest, to because I work full time and so does Katie pretty much, and I dream of like quitting, as much as I love my job, but quitting the 9 to 5 lifestyle of driving freight trucks and everything, just to be a famous YouTuber, and take the dog for walks and just make videos about walking the dog in beautiful places around the country. Because we got that picture of the South Island up over there. It's like, I believe that my dream in the long run is to get us on the road for some decent road trips around that other island, the mainland, as they call it, and finally get there after 40 years of dreaming about it, basically. And I'd like to do that and make documentaries on, get a drone, do some upgrades for the bus. And I just think, you know, what I would like is online for people to get to know us and then maybe support us with that dream sort of coming true, you know. If people want to follow us online, I've got several different YouTube channels, and none of them are like super successful in any way. The channel I'm most excited about is the most recent one we created, inspired by the dog, and the name of the channel is The Adventures of Quirkily Woggles, which I sort of started not long ago, and made a couple of pretty cool videos.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend. Also, if you want to watch more alternative dwellings, we got a playlist popping up right here, and we release new episodes every single Sunday, so consider subscribing.